Here's your host, Chelsea Edwards.
To another episode of Chattin With Chelsea. I'm your daytime bestie, Chelsea Edwards. You know those friends and family members who always seem to have it together? You know, the strong ones, the ones that everybody leans on. Well, lately, I have found myself with that title somehow, and I'm sitting here wondering, when did everybody get together and decide that I am a responsible, stable adult? Like, ew. Okay. Today is all about checking in. Our first guest is going to tell us what our strong friends could be carrying while insisting that they are fine. And then also why those real check-ins actually matter. Then we're going a bit deeper. We are digging into trauma triggers, what they are, how they sneak up on us, and how to handle them in a healthy way. So whether you're the strong friend or the one who needs one, this is for you.
I don't think that people understand that when you're strong, it's because something happened in your life that made you like that. People talk about hyper independent people or people that hold stuff in and handle problems by themselves as if it's some type of preferred behavior. Like this is just fun to do. When you show a certain amount of strength, nobody allows you to be weak. When you're looked at as the strong friend, you can tell somebody that 9 people in your family just passed away today and you lost your job and your relationship, and they'll look at you like, well, you're the strongest person I know. You'll be all right. Being strong don't mean you better than anybody. It means that you've been able to function and cope with the hand that you've been given. And because of that, people will dump all their problems onto you because you've proven that you're strong enough to handle all your and theirs. Whether somebody is strong because they have kids that depend on them, or they're strong because they made it through a situation that would have otherwise broke them, being strong ain't really something that you want to be more than it's something that you gotta be. So check on your strong friends because they struggling too, just, silently.
So many truths there. Welcome to Chattin With Chelsea, Lilith Meridian, founder of La Casa Treatment Centers. Now, you deal with people who have really been through it. I mean, they may be leaning too heavily on alcohol or substances, and your clinicians really try to help them through these things, even if they are strong. But you yourself, you've been the strong person who's needed some help. Tell me about that.
I went through a very traumatic event in my life where I couldn't be there for myself, but I was there for everybody else. And nobody saw my weakness. Everybody saw how strong I was. And I take pride in that because I was there when I couldn't be there for myself, but I was there for all my friends.
What was going on at that time in your life?
I lost my husband in 2016. And after that, I went through deep depression, but I was the only one that saw my depression, nobody else.
Wow.
Until I decided to seek help. And I did, but I was always there. Nobody ever saw my weak side.
So you were still checking in on everybody else, even when you were at your lowest?
I was the one that was always checking in. Sometimes I would be like, hold on, I'm going through this. Why am I showing that I'm so strong that nobody wants to check in on me to make sure I'm okay? And one time I opened a conversation with my friend said, because you never show that you're bothered by anything. But I was bothered, but I never wanted nobody to see my weak side.
Did you end up telling your friend, like, really what was going on with you? Were you able to open up in that way?
I was.
Okay.
I was, and after that, everybody started checking in on me.
Good. That's really good. That's what we need. That's the thing when it comes to the strong ones. Everybody, it's easy for everyone to add more to your plate, but to actually just stop and say, hey, like, how are you doing?
I went through that. Where people forgot that I was grieving. Everybody would just bring everything towards my way. Hey, can you help us with this? Can you help? And I was like, hold on a second. I just took the worst loss of my life, and I'm grieving and I'm going through all this. Why am I constantly showing everybody that I'm okay? It's okay for me now to be okay and to speak about it. But I didn't understand that until I had real therapy.
Yeah.
And that's when everything changed for me.
So what did you learn in therapy that really turned this around?
It's okay not to be well, but you have to seek help and you have to speak about it. You have to learn how to let go, and you have to change your environment. If there is an environment where it's triggering you and it doesn't allow you to be you by speaking the truth and for others to understand what you're going through, change your environment. That's not your environment.
Did you have to have conversations with other people as well, in addition to your friend, to say, hey, like, stop asking me for stuff right now? Like, did you have to actually set some boundaries when it came to certain people?
I did, because at a certain point I wasn't able to say that because I never wanted to hurt feelings.
Yeah.
But after seeking therapy, I learned how to be open about my feelings and not care about what the person in front of me is gonna think, because it's a valid feeling that I have and I'm going through.
Now, how would you, if you could go back in time, how would you have liked your friends to check in on you, being the strong one?
More so in private.
Okay.
Not accusational, more showing concern. You have to approach people with concern and not like, hey, you don't look right, is everything okay? But in a way where you're accusing them of not the proper behavior, instead of saying, I see you're not going through the right time of your life.
Because nobody wants to be put on the spot, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're going through something.
Absolutely.
So does this mean a phone call, a text, a stopping by? So, because sometimes we really may not know what that person prefers.
Consistency is very important. You can't just pop up and say, hey, what's going on? As friends, we always see something is not okay. So checking on them every day, whether it's through phone, whether you just pop up, but I would suggest every day a phone call would be nice.
And even if you have a lot going on, maybe it's something that you need to put a sticky note up about, just making sure that you're checking on that strong one.
Absolutely, because that's what friends are there for. It's not just about me. It's not about what I'm going through. You always have to make sure that your friends are okay. I always call everybody, hey, is everything okay? They'll be like, why, what happened? Nothing, I'm just checking in on you. Is everything okay?
It's like, you should check in just because.
Yes.
Not just when something's wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Any other advice for those friends to make sure that they're checking in on those strong ones?
For you guys to get together, just invite or you just pop up. I think that would be the best thing.
Yeah, and then that'll allow the other person to open up more as
Absolutely.
well. So when you ask them how they're doing, they're going to actually tell you.
Create a safe haven for them.
Yes, I love that. All right, well, we got more to chat about. We're going to bring you back later in the show. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with Dr. D. Yvonne Young. Talk about those trauma triggers that we should also know about when it comes to our friends. Be right back. Dr. D. Yvonne Young is a trauma therapist and best-selling author who says that we are all walking around with some kind of trauma and here to help us deal with it. Thank you for coming, Dr. Young, to Chat with Chelsea.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Yes. So let's start with these trauma triggers. What is that exactly?
Well, back in our ancestry, it would be something growling in the bushes or something making a sound. Now, it's a text message or that name on an email, or it could just be this ruminating thought that just won't let you go.
You know what? When you said name, one popped up in my head. I said, oh, you know what? I do get triggered. So what does that trigger, what does it look like for most people?
Well, I'm going to give you a quick neuroscience lesson, right?
Okay.
The middle of your brain has this thing called the amygdala and the limbic system. So your physiology is looking for cues in the environment. Am I safe? Am I good? Am I secure? When that happens, what is going on is this part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, is offline. So when we are walking around with this activating, the part of us that's relational, the part of us that's creative, it's out to lunch. So until we feel safe, till we feel secure, we're not present.
Okay. Let's say I am triggered by this phone call or this text from this person. How do I get myself back to the safe zone?
Well, the first thing is some self-empathy and self-compassion. I know this guy that wrote this really good, oh, never mind. But the thing is, you must be compassionate and empathetic with yourself. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be hurt. When we accept our relationship with the trauma, now we have an ability to control it, because when we can name it, when we can look at how it's affecting our body, you know, your shoulders are tight, you don't want to eat, or when you can't sleep, when we can say, you know what, I can't sleep, I can't eat because I'm thinking about blank, and now I may not be able to control the bills that I got, I may not be able to control the heartbreak, but what part of this can I control? And when we identify that first step, that's how you begin the journey.
Okay. Even if it is maybe a slight trauma, is there such thing as that? Can I say that?
Well, let me just say it like this. That's a trauma that's exiting the scene, but most of us have an active trauma of some sort. It may be we have too much month left at the end of our money. It could be the fact that somebody that we love and we gave ourselves to, you didn't give me what I gave you, so now not only do I feel stupid, I feel betrayed. So trauma can come in many forms.
Okay, so we might be triggered by, okay, I got another bill in the mail, or just opening the mailbox, period, or just maybe seeing that person online that we used to deal with.
How about in your phone on your text messages?
Yes.
Right? You just see a name, and I can't even say that language, but you could just imagine what I would say, oh, blank. So you can just see a name in a text message. You could just see a number pop up on your phone. But sometimes trauma is in here. And remember what they said, reality is what? Based on your perception. So whatever you perceive to be traumatic, it probably shows up as trauma for you.
Wow, and that's fair. Like other people may not be fazed by some of these things, but it's okay if that bothers you, if it's a trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because if you don't love you, if you don't empathize with you, who else is going to do it? You're teaching people how to treat you by how you treat yourself.
All right, so be kind to yourself, be honest about this is a trigger for me.
Yeah.
And then what do we do next?
Once we identify the trigger and we name it, now we look at where am I in relationship to this? If it's new, if it's still hurting, sometimes it's just having the discipline to say, you know what, this has stopped me from eating. And look at the part of you that's not affected by the trauma. So let's say the trauma is 10%. That other 90% is your child. That other 90% is your health. So make sure that in that little thing you can control, let me make sure that I eat. If I'm not going to eat, let me make sure I make a nice smoothie that has the nutrition in it that I need. I'm not sleeping. Okay, well, you know what? I am going to take a nap today. But what you can control, control it.
Okay. What if we feel a little out of control because we may not be able to control that trigger? Like we can't avoid getting the emails and the bills and things like that. So is there anything we could do on that end? I mean, I'm automatically thinking about blocking the ex, but what are your ideas?
You know what's better than blocking?
What?
Putting your phone down and going outside, right? We do not have to remain tethered to our telephones, so which is a primary source of that trauma having access to you. The other thing that we can do is change the environment. Sometimes that means something as simple as just laying, let's say the trauma is something that's more painful, the loss of a loved one, a parent, God forbid, a child. Just take the picture and put it up for a minute. I didn't say throw it away, just put it away, because if you know when you look at that picture, 5 minutes later, you're sitting in there out of control crying. Well, I didn't say throw the picture away, but remove it from being an element in your environment. Another thing you can do is get out your environment. Go in nature. There is just something that is beautiful when you either play, if you have a puppy or dog, they're always in the present moment. They're empathizing with you. Give them the love they're giving you. And then if there's nothing else, if you don't have any money, you got too much month left at the end of your money, go in nature, go take a walk and just pay attention to your surroundings. That's called being mindfully present.
I love that. Like, learn from your dog to just be in the present. Walk through the grass a little bit. And so in your book, Leading from the Heart, are you digging deeper into how to handle these trauma triggers?
We're going really deep. We're getting down to the roots of trauma, which is, how were you raised? What is your social background? You know, what is your ethnicity? What are your beliefs? Now, how much of your trauma is connected to things that other people shaped for you? Meaning your parents, your caregivers, because a lot of stuff is social. Some of it is environmental and some of it is cultural. Once we can understand the lens that we're looking at life through, we can change the lenses, or sometimes if it's too bright, we can at least put shades on and take the intensity away. That's the first step. The second step is having a relationship with it that you control. So instead of letting your problems control you, you control your problems. You set a time and you set a date to focus on things that stress you the hell out. And once that timer is up, I would tell people when they're going through breakups, and my other book, Break Up, Don't Break Down, that I would tell you, you know what, you want to have a pity party? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get a cupcake. We're going to put a candle in it. We're going to light it. We're going to sit here, be mad, cry, cuss. And when that candle gets about halfway down, blow it out, eat the cupcake, and get back to living.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We are moving past this.
Yeah, we're going past this.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, we've got to take a commercial break. You're not going anywhere, though. We'll be right back with more right after this. Well, welcome back. We've been talking about being a strong friend, taking care of your strong friend, and dealing with those triggers. So our experts are still hanging with us to talk a little bit more. Dr. Young, what does it look like to continue to show up, especially if you are that strong person, while you're still dealing with those triggers?
You're keeping up appearances. What's going on with you is you've found a way to validate yourself. Now that validation is rooted in what you believe is your core identity, like, I am the strong one. And what's reinforced is when you have parasitical people or people that you have enabled that reinforce that narrative. So now instead of you realizing, you know, I'm not helping, I'm enabling, this is your identity. So now what you feel invalidated when you don't appear the way that you want people to perceive you.
And you got to stop. Check that.
Yeah.
Because Lily, you've seen this spiral even further, where people start depending on substances, on alcohol, like needing additional help. What would you say to them to maybe convince themselves to take that pause and ask for that help that they need?
Well, for me, I believe that you constantly have to say it, especially when it has to do with addiction. You have to approach them with compassion and show them your compassion, but also create boundaries for them to understand you have boundaries, but you still show up and you care for them, and they need the help and they have to get help.
So if you see some of these signs in your friends, like,
yes,
it's okay to just have that talk with them.
Yes.
Okay. How would y'all suggest people move forward dealing with this juggling act if they do actually, keep it real with themselves?
Well, here's what you got to get ready for. Disruption. When you stop being who you have been, especially to people that are just like vampires sucking the life out of you, all of a sudden they're going to be like, well, wait a minute, every time I ask you for $50, now you ain't giving it to me. What's wrong with you? Or, what you mean you're not going to pick me up? What you mean I can't use your car?
Yes.
So at some point, you have to accept that transformation has an element that's required. That element is disruption.
And it's okay if they give you attitude afterwards.
I promise they'll live.
Yeah.
And so will you.
It happens.
Yeah.
Most of the time it happens.
How important is it to take time for ourselves, like set those boundaries, and then maybe even have to cut people off?
Extremely important.
Yeah, it's critical that when you think about you, that you put you first. You ask yourself, what do I need right now? What do I need? Stop being concerned about pouring into someone else's cup, because if you keep doing that, your cup is going to be empty.
Yeah, and we can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Hey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
talked about that
Absolutely.
before.
And they lose value in your time. They lose value in your time. When you show up and you don't put yourself first, they lose that value in your time.
Wow. What was on the other side of you setting those boundaries, having those conversations? What is the new Lilith like?
I love myself more than I can love others. If I didn't love myself, I can't love you and I can't care for you. So I have to put myself first. I have to understand what it feels like to put myself first before I can understand your needs.
Yes, that's
No is a complete sentence, right? So if you say no, that's a complete sentence, exclamation mark or period. We find ourselves in this place where we're trying to justify someone seeing us and respecting us. Well, if you haven't been seeing yourself and respecting yourself, why would anybody else?
Man, amen over here.
There you go.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with you two just a couple minutes.
Come back to me.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Chattin' with Chelsea, and thank you to our experts for helping us take care of our strong friends and deal with these trauma triggers. Dr. Young, how can people connect with you and get all your books?
This is real simple. Just Google Dr. D, fourth letter in the alphabet, Dr. D, Yvonne, spelled like Ivan, Young. You can find me there.
There you go. He said, I Google me. That's what you said. Google me.
Well, it's simple, right?
Yes.
Keep it simple.
All right, Lulu.
LaCasaTreatmentCenter.com.
Yes. So that's where people can find extra support
Yes.
that they need.
Yes.
Excellent. And you have a new location right here.
And we do
in-
have a new location in
All right.
Conroe, Texas.
Yes, from LA to Conroe,
Conroe.
taking care of the
We're
folks.
just expanding,
We-
trying to go countrywide.
Yes, we appreciate it very much. All right. And we appreciate you guys. Subscribe and like on our YouTube channel. That's Chattin' with Chelsea. And keep up with us on social at Chelsea Fox 26. And we'll see you on the next Chattin' with Chelsea.
Come back to me.
Hey, I would do something.